some like ideas.
Yeah, sure. Whatever order you guys want to present in, go right ahead.
Yep. Yeah. Mackenzie leads off the batting order.
Okay, I'll be quick. All right, good afternoon, everybody. So first off, Gary and Ed, I wanted to make sure that there was nothing else you wanted me to fix in the intro letter that I sent off. Was everything good?
I didn't have anything.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Yep.
And I wanted to make sure it was okay to send it off once the final review was in place. I know you want to translate the letter, and that's something we're working on, but is it okay to send it off to the English speakers in these countries?
Yeah, I wouldn't wait on it. So,
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yes.
I'm also currently working on the foreign contact database, which will probably be done by Monday. And I wanted to know if there's a certain place you would like me to store these databases at. I know we talked about the Google Doc. Was it Google Docs?
Google Drive. Yep.
Google Drive. Yes. Okay. So from now on,
will,
I'll post everything there if that's okay.
yeah, I'll send you a link to the drive that's got all the other marketing materials in it. So it's publicly accessible. Whoever has a link can at least view it.
Yeah.
And I'll make sure you've got right privileges.
Yeah, that would help with the lists and also with the soon to come press kit. So
Okay. I'll definitely post it there then. So just a couple ideas. I was thinking about the social media, and I noticed that we kind of only post, well, rather, we really only post when we want people to, do something for us, like the SEQP. We really only post when we're trying to get people to join it, or we don't really post about anything else, like the grape or, the TDOA. We don't post about anything else. So I was wondering if it would be a good idea to make a weekly post, like maybe set something up for every Monday we post about something. But if I do this, I would need some help thinking about some topics to post. And if anybody would have a specific topic that they think would go good on the social media, maybe they could send the idea to me. And I would write everything up and, do all that stuff, post it. I just need some help with ideas.
Yep. I mean, a thought, that's a really good idea, Mackenzie. I think maybe one of the things, I'm looking at Gary here now, is maybe as an agenda item, maybe at the close of every meeting, is that we look to say one of the two content points that we want Mackenzie to post going forward. So we've got a couple of days for her to get it up on a Monday morning.
Awesome.
No, that makes a lot of sense. In fact, I wrote down the same thing. Actually, both Thursday Zooms, the grape one and this one, we should do the same thing, and we'll do that.
Okay, and my final thing was, I think it would be a good idea if we had some sort of countdown timer on the HamSci webpage for the SEQP.
That sounds good.
Is there a way we can do that?
Yeah, there's a lot of clocks that are downloadable.
Okay.
Calendars. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be a fun idea.
The best thing to do is there's a beta HamSci website that Gary has access to. So it's like a clone of the HamSci website that you can use for testing stuff on. So Gary can make you an account on that website, and then you can feel free to try hacking it and put on some sort of a clock or something, see how that goes. And if it works well on the test website, then you can then we can put it on the main site.
Okay, awesome. That was, I think I went over everything. Yes, that was it for me. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you, Ed, and thank you, Gary.
Thank you. So okay, let me turn it over, I guess, Gary, AB4GH. Quick update, because I know you sent me something pretty much in the last hour or so.
Yeah. Well, it's been evolving. I sent my son, who was he's a script writer, he's a freelance script writer, and he worked for Discovery Channel, and he's right now kind of in a rock and a hard space. He's allowed to do PSAs that are pro bono, and of course stuff for dad that doesn't interfere with the strikes that are going on, because they'll basically hang him. So but anyway, he's been working on, I asked him, I said, I've got two people that I'm approaching, Muse Watson, and he's done like 30 television shows. He's a character actor in about 30, 40 movies. And also Gary Sinise, who's best known as Lieutenant Dan for Forrest Gump, and also Apollo 13 and Mission to Mars. That's all in that area, so pretty much knowing them. He's out touring with USO to military bases right now with his Lieutenant Dan Van. But I asked Andrew, my son, to put a script together, and I would give him the information. I sent him the video that Nathan was in that NASA had done. Sent him the slideshow, just to give him a little background on what it is. And he's heard me talk about it enough. He has an idea, but he needed to look at the technical terms. So he come up with 2 scripts for PSA that can be either they're formatted to industry standard, and they can be done by somebody doing a voiceover of a video, say a celebrity who just wants to read it, but they don't want to go on camera, or they can go on camera and then the shots in between can be cut in and edited in for no problem. I'm going to try to do a screen share here. Actually, see if I can, yeah, how can I get it? There we go. And you know when you guys can see it.
You're good.
Okay, that's just the cover page that they have on it. I told him I didn't want any credit. He says, "Oh, come on, Dad." So the title of it, and then it goes into this is a short version of it. It's got fade in, background music begins over black screen. It's got the narrator, whoever we get or whoever agrees to it can either do it on camera or they can just do it by audio only. You know, join ham size 2324 solar eclipse QSO party and become a volunteer citizen scientist. Then would be if it's a video or audio, either way, if it's a audio or on camera, there'll be an external shot of space. The NA stands for there's no daylight, there's no nighttime, it's space. So basically it'd be a breathtaking visual of a solar eclipse. Narrator will continue, experience the total or near total eclipse sweeping across the United States in 2023 and 2024. Don't miss out or don't miss this incredible opportunity. And then it would be internal image of the ham operator's home setup during a day. Various amateur radio operators enthusiastically making contacts around the country with their equipment. Could be a subtitle that would be under that. The narrator would pick up, engage in a thrilling radio contacts and other citizen science activities, unravel the mysteries of the Earth's ionosphere together. And then you do an interior shot of a laboratory day, scientists analyzing data and conducting experiments. Narrator basically says scientific researchers will analyze your submitted logs and spotting data to deepen the understanding of our ionosphere. And then it would be an external shot of Hamside Festival clips of Ionosphere Science Day, exciting visuals of the festival. If we've got anything that would match along with that. Narrator would be mark your calendars for the Hamside Festival Clips Ionospheric Science on October 14th, 2023 and April 8th, 2024. Be a part of groundbreaking scientific exploration during these breathtaking solar eclipses. In diverse participants interacting and collaborating with each other. Narrator would be joining volunteer amateur radio operators, shortwave listeners, and science researchers from renowned U.S. universities. Together, we'll advance our knowledge of the sun, ionosphere, Earth relationship. External day shot, inspiring stock footage of featuring nature and exploration. Narrator says, don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to be part of the Hamside community. Visit hamside.org today. Become a volunteer citizen scientist. A title card basically would be where the Hamside logo would go. Website information would be displayed along with ARRL partner. The narrator would say join Hamside's 2024 solar eclipse party and let's unlock the secrets of our ionosphere. Text on screen would be HAMSI receives funding from the following, and it would be a NASA logo, National Science Foundation logo, Amateur Radio Digital Communications logo, and the University of Scranton logo. Narrator, we together we will continue to inspire scientific breakthroughs, image in the background, image, background music, and then fade to black. There's another, I can't get to it there. Hang on a second, let me stop sharing that. And go over here. And this is a longer version. It's just a little bit longer. It's not that much longer. It just goes into a little bit more detail of some of. I'll leave it up on the screen unless you guys want me to read through it again. So, or read through it. But well, I'll just go ahead. Background begins over black screen. Narrator, are you ready to embark on a fascinating journey as a volunteer citizen scientist? Join HAMSI's 2324 Solar Eclipse Party or QSO party and be a part of something extraordinary. Again, external shot space. I'll just read the narrator section. These upcoming events will take place during the total or near total eclipse sweeping across continental United States in 2023 and 2024. It's an opportunity you don't want to miss. Then the internal shot picture of Ham and the subtitles. Text under it, and the amateur or the narrator would pick up and say, as an amateur radio participant, you'll engage in thrilling radio contacts and a myriad of other activities in the name of citizen scientists. It's just not about competition. It's about coming together as a community to unravel the mysteries of our Earth's ionosphere. The laboratory day shot. Narrator, once the fun and friendly competition are over, our dedicated scientific researchers will analyze submitted logs and spotting data. Their mission to gain a deeper understanding of Earth's ionosphere, unlocking the knowledge that benefits us all. Then another external shot of the festival. Narrator would mark your calendars for the HAMSI Festival Eclipse Ionosphere Scientists, October 14th, 2023 and April 8th, 2024. These festivals will be held during a spectacular North American solar eclipse, providing a unique backdrop for our scientific endeavors. Then people collaborate with each other. Narrator again, your fellow participants will include volunteer amateur radio operators, shortwave listeners, and scientific researchers from renowned U.S. universities. Together, we will push the boundaries of our knowledge and deepen our understanding of the sun, ionosphere, Earth relationships. And stock footage. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to be a part of HAMSI's community. Visit hamsci.org today to learn more and become a volunteer citizen scientist. And then the title cards were basically the same. And then the last thing the narrator would basically say is that join HAMSI's 2024 Solar Eclipse Party and let your curiosity soar. Together, we can illuminate the secrets of our ionosphere and inspire future scientist breakthroughs. Image, background music, fade out the black. So what do you guys think? I'll send copies to everybody or post it up in Discord so you can go through it. But that's something that if one of the celebrities or personalities wants to jump on it, they'll jump on it, but I would have to send them something that for them to basically make a decision on whether they want to do it on camera or whether they want to do it by just audio only. But the main thing was it had to be formatted correctly, because most of these, I mean, most of them won't even look at something that's not formatted right. If it's not formatted correctly as a PSA, they're not going to touch it. So
Right.
they figure that if somebody doesn't have the sense to format it to industry standards, they don't want to go through it.
Sounds
Well,
like scientific papers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So
No,
that's wonderful. Thank you.
yeah, and I mean, obviously we'll have to pull it offline, Gary, just, with time and everything else, but I think it's a great idea. Obviously, time is of the essence if we're going to move on it. And he's prepared to do production. Okay, pretty quickly on this. Once-
Well, when I talked to one of representatives for Gary Sinise and also for Muse Watson, who's supposed to be coming back here to my area, Berea. He went to Berea College and took acting and a lot of stuff from here. But the way they said it basically is that they'll just go sit in front of a camera
and
and
do it. Yep.
have a nice background and read through it, and then pictures can be inserted.
Yeah.
Yes, Andrew can do that once the footage is done.
Yep.
He can. All it is a matter of choosing the right pictures to insert, I would come back to you and Nathan and say, okay, the NASA video had these pictures. We want to use the same pictures to insert them.
Yeah,
Um,
Nathaniel, I did share with him the NASA video. Okay. that
Okay,
one,
great.
just so he's got background on that as well too.
Yeah.
So
And by the way, very good, Nathan.
Thank
One,
you.
one little detail I noticed, you had a long list of logos. Think you
Mhm.
might want to put the ARL logo.
yeah,
in
yeah,
there
as a
as well.
partner. Yeah, I mean, we'll do the edits. I mean, we're all looking at this for the first time, so
Right.
we're going to really have to.
I
take a
noticed
look at it.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, so Gary, I mean, we
Yeah.
need to get together on it. So I guess, my questions are obviously is production time, your son's willingness to do it. Obviously we're going to need, if he can get talent, we're going to need permission and make sure that we've got, and obviously some sort of form of rights on it, I would guess. Because it would be our production, but that's an offline issue, I would guess. But I mean, I can see, I mean, this sort of goes back to sort of like the general ham population. Because I mean, it would be interesting. It's a different approach to reaching them. I mean, we can use, a lot of the media that we've got in place and lists to be able to distribute it and hopefully maybe get some of the partners. To
Yeah,
help us out on
I
that.
had I've got on the thing here on the title card. It says where the ham side logo and website information are displayed along with the ARRL logo, our
Yep.
partner logo. I put that up there because we mentioned before they were more of a partner, not really a funding.
That's right,
aspect
exactly.
of
Right.
it. Also, one of the other things too is he looked at the slide, the PowerPoint slides, and that would be just a matter of exporting it to an MP4. He suggested that if you try to do a slide production and you do a voiceover, he says, if you've got a good microphone, you can do the voiceover. He says, but you'll get a cleaner shot if you just export the slideshow to an MP4 and then do the audio separately, slide by slide, and then do a sync of the audio to the slides, and he said you'll get a cleaner sound out of it. He says because recording on a laptop with a PowerPoint is not necessarily sometimes the best audio, but you could sync the audio with it. So,
All right. So, I mean, why don't, I'm looking at Gary here, is that two Garys? Why don't we find time like early next week? And Nathaniel, I know you're back as well too. I mean, just, to get some time to look over the script, go over any questions that we have. And then from there, we can make a decision pretty quickly regarding whether we want to go ahead, in terms of taking it off, if that's good with everybody. So, yeah, Gary, thanks, to your son. Okay. As well. I mean, this is yeoman's work. Okay. In a short period of time. So.
yeah, no problem. He's excited about it. That's for
Yeah, you
sure.
can tell. Yeah. So,
He just needs, the basic information of an idea on which way to go with it.
Yep. Yeah. And obviously we'll
And-
take a look at it. I mean, it's because we're looking at the script, all of us for the first time.
I'm
So,
trying to figure out how to. Now, apparently I can't upload through the chat thing. I was going to upload the files through there. Well, you've got the files.
Yeah, I do.
Dis-
Yeah,
distrib- distrib- Distribute them
we can
out to
distribute
whoever
that
else.
from there. Perfect.
Yeah,
So,
and that way everybody has a chance to look it over, read it over, make sure that there's not any kind of wording mess ups or something like that.
Yep.
But and then I tried to read it during different time frames, people read different speeds. Some actors like to take it a little slower, some like to take it a little bit better. But one thing that I was told by Andrew is that being that it's a web PSA, it's not bound by
Yeah, you're not, it's not time
Yeah.
sensitive that way. It's
Yeah, you're
a
not
30,
bound
right?
by the 15,
Yeah,
30-second
not a
rule
30,
or minute
not a
rule.
30 or 60, right? So, perfect.
Mm.
Thank you. So, I'm just looking at, Gary here. So let's just find a time to pull a meeting together next week and take it off the table. So,
Sure.
perfect. So Gary, thanks. Okay. So I'm watching time here. So,
Okay.
just let me just go briefly through some of the items that I've got just on the balance of the list. I was I think I mentioned last week that I was at the Sussex, New Jersey Hamfest this past Sunday. It rained like crazy, but that put everybody inside the pavilion, which gave me a chance to shake a lot of hands and hand out a lot of Hamside cards. I interacted probably with about 125 people. Overall, handed out cards. As I mentioned to a couple people, I was pleasantly surprised by the amount of background information that people said that they had heard about it, okay, that they had participated in it back in 2017, and were anxious to get together again. And obviously, for some people, it was an educational experience. But I thought it was a pretty positive interaction, just getting in front of people as we did in Dayton. You can see two pictures from the Sussex Ham Show on our Facebook page. Thanks to Mackenzie, she put them up. So I thought it was pretty good. I also managed to get 4 PowerPoint presentations with New Jersey and Pennsylvania clubs out of it. So we get a chance to spread the word around. And so, if you get a chance to interact with a club, volunteer to do our presentation, okay, which is, I think, is available, I guess will be on the drive once we get that done. So it's ready to go now, just in terms of scheduling dates. So just in terms of other scheduling, right now is the ARL Board of Directors meeting. The Hudson Division Director, Nomar Vizcarrando, NP4H, is going to lend good offices. I gave him a number of cards to talk to directors about getting them to get the word out throughout their divisions about HAMSI, obviously with a partnership with the league, and the league has been rather enthusiastic, as you'll hear in a second. This gives us an opportunity to get in front of a large number of clubs and talk a little bit about what we'd like to have them do in terms of Eclipse participation. Nomar has volunteered to do a presentation, scheduled presentation with all the Hudson Division clubs, and Gary has volunteered to be the presenter on, I think it's April 18th, right, Gary?
August 18th. Yeah.
August 18th. Yeah. So, so obviously, if we can get the Hudson Division, we can get a couple of others. And I'm also looking to put together a section manager list so we can push it out through all the SMs, which are a little closer to the clubs on a local basis, and get something scheduled there. So that's the piece. Also with ARL, we have an ad schedule tentatively set for between September the 14th and October the 14th. Run of site on ARL.org. And they were very, very willing to take us on. We'll figure out some sort of a funding mechanism, or else it'll be a donation, okay, in terms of looking at the cost, but it's not that much. I think it's about $125 to run the whole schedule for that month. Both of our contest listings for the SEQP are up, both in CQ, and I finalized the arrangements with ARL to run in QST and on the site. They also wanted to post the April listing already, and so we gave them information on that going forward. So just I guess a couple of other things in terms of club news. Mike Walters, who is the ARL club coordinator, will be doing a feature on us in the August edition of Club News, which is really nice for us. They've been really supportive of us going forward. I will also just point you back to our Facebook page in Sussex, where I got a picture of myself standing with Dave Minster, NA2AA, the Hudson Division Director, the Vice Director, and the New Jersey Section Manager. It's a real nice tacit endorsement, I would say, in terms of having the ARL support us, as I'm in my shiny white coat talking about HAMSI. So and obviously, Minster's on board with it, okay, and hopefully he'll mention it at the board meeting as well too. Just a couple of other items, just watching time here, is that if you remember last week, I'm just looking to see who's on the call. But if you remember KATE, Bill was on the call last week, and we put him together with Noah, with Kimberly Eves, and he will be working with her in terms of doing a station in October at the Albuquerque Balloon Festival. Okay, in which they're going to be participating. And also Bill is going to be a speaker at the upcoming, I think it's Rocky Mountain Convention, and be talking about Hamsci there as well too. So we got an extra speaker opportunity out of it. So that's that piece. I'm just looking to see if I missed anything. Also, Bill had a suggestion coming out of last week's meeting, which I think showed up on our ideas page for a press kit. That's a really good idea. And I've got about half of it done just between last week and this week. And when I've got everything posted, I'll let you know next week that we'll put it up on the shared drive. So you get a little bit about background information, things that, I did forget one other thing too. Things that, that Hamsci has accomplished, and also just, information about the Eclipse and how to get there, that type of thing. And then the last, not necessarily least, but we also received, as Nathaniel mentioned last week, the Halstead Agency, which is working with the University of Scranton. And they volunteered to do some pro bono time to help us with Hamsci. I met with Bill Johnson, who's their principal, last Monday, and it was sort of really a marriage of convenience, which I thought was rather nice. As I mentioned to Nathaniel, is that he's not a ham, so I guess sort of all the technical aspect behind what a ham is, and SEQP was a little different for him. But he does do work in the public sphere, which we haven't got enough bandwidth, quite honestly, to handle. And, if you mentioned, I know we mentioned early on about working with Scientific American, Popular Electronics, and those types of magazines. Bill is willing to do those approaches, and actually do a story pitch for us and hopefully get us some coverage. If not for October, then certainly for the April total eclipse. And he's also, talked about maybe perhaps, doing some pitches to the New York Times and NPR, which I think would be an absolute coup for us, if he can get, some publicity around it, from there. So, so I see Bill on here. Bill, yes. So thank you. Okay. I see you on here, and obviously the press kit is in progress thanks to you. So there you go. So, and I know that you've reached out, to Kimberly. So we've got that piece in place. If you want to add anything quickly, that's where we're here. So, yeah.
I met online with Kimberly and Eric, a representative, both from NOAA, and had a really good conversation. They're excited about it. They're excited about coming to Albuquerque, and NOAA will have a 5-booth display, each booth under 10 by 10 canopies in front of the International Balloon Fiesta. Aquí hablamos español. We speak Spanish out
There you
here.
go. It's always a festival in New Jersey. Fiesta's
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm from upstate New York, so yeah. Otherwise, it was an exchange student in Colombia. Anyway, we'll have 5 booths, one of which will be devoted entirely to amateur radio. We'll have a station set up there. I'll be on for a 15-minute presentation that will be streamed along with all the other streaming they do during the event. So we're really good to go there. You mentioned Hamsci cards. I assume
Yes.
business type cards. Can
Yes.
I get any of those?
Yes. Right.
Cool.
This is what we used in Dayton. Okay.
Yeah, I'll use it next
Gary's
month.
your conduit. So, yeah.
Which Gary?
AFA Day. So, yeah.
Oh, hide that Gary. Okay.
Yep.
Got it down. So I'll hand those out at the Rocky Mountain Division Convention next
Perfect.
month.
Perfect.
And of course, as you said, I'm scheduled to speak there. So I will be at a table promoting Hamsci and the solar eclipses.
How cool is this? So,
As if I knew what I were talking about.
so anyway, thank you. So that's great.
Thank
Bill.
you guys for your help.
Yeah, perfect. So one other point just to close is that one area that we are struggling in, and Mackenzie is off the call, and I know that Nick has mentioned it, who I know Nick is on the call, is obviously we talked a little bit about getting contacts in Central and South America. The last week and a half has been a real struggle, A, in terms of who to approach, and B, when we've made some outreach in a lack of getting replies. I've done an approach through a couple of the IARU associations. We're going to get some help in terms of a Spanish translation to get that point across. Hopefully English will work, to the associations, but reaching out to members of clubs has been rather difficult. So if you have contacts, particularly with with clubs who are in Central and South America, please reach out to them. Or if you'd like me to be the conduit to do that, I'll be glad to do it, because we're really looking to get some participation literally south of the US border. So anyway, Gary, that's all I have. And I think we've got a lot moving here. So.
Yeah, that's a lot of material you guys covered in a half an hour today. Everyone appreciates it, I'm sure. You've got a nice little team going there helping, everybody's pitching in. Yeah, and Bill, yeah, we'll be in touch. I'll figure out how many cards you need. You figure it out and I'll get them in the mail to you. Easy to do. Okay, let's see what else I wanted to cover today. I wasn't going to do much on the science topics because I know Gareth wasn't here today, so we can put that off till next week when our two key researchers are both here and in the same time zone. That'll help. So far as the SEQP scoring committee, many of you may have seen that I put a post up on the Hamsci Google group listserv a few days ago. And I got 3 pretty good responses. One of who, Adarsh, is here with us today. I know you've been looking at the rules, Adarsh, and trying to think ahead a little bit about how you might approach this, and that's fantastic. I also had a conversation with Kevin, KD4TRB, I think, who's got some experience in this area. And there was a 3rd response as well. And next week when Nathaniel's back in the States, everyone was kind of interested to see what the approach was taken back in 2017. And I don't know if anybody wanted to use your code, Nathaniel, or just at least be aware of it, see what was done, and it might give them some ideas to the future. So we'll worry about that next week, getting access to that, I hope. Adarsh, is anything you want to say regarding the scoring committee, the things that you looked into?
I looked into the rules. I have some experience with data analysis in Python, and I think I could do it based off that. I don't know what Dr. Frissell used in 2017 in regards to his code. I guess once I have that, I could take a look at that and see what I can build off of or what I have to change or stuff.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I did it in Python. I'm more than happy to share my code with you. I don't know that it's necessarily going to help you, because it's just a script that I wrote and made sure it worked, and that was it. Wasn't really designed to be super usable. And I don't even know that the data that we get or the logs we get are going to be in exactly the same format. So you're welcome to look at what I did for inspiration, but you may end up just rewriting your own thing.
Okay, that all makes a lot of sense. Let's see what else I had on there, the scoring committee and whatnot. And I really think that was about it. I know we talked about some of the club ideas and stuff last week. I've still got the list. I haven't moved it around. I know Ed, you wanted a copy of that as well. You were looking at that and going to talk some of that over with the league a little bit. So
Yeah, and just as background, I think if Gary, when Gary moves around the list that we put together last week, really take a look at it and what else can we add to it. I know, when just looking back at the notes, we have no reference to STEM at all in it. And I think there's an opportunity there. Certainly Mike Walters at the league thinks that there's a good hook for us, thinking about us in terms of how that might be a good opportunity. So if we can add a little bit to that list, particularly in terms of activities that either outside organizations can do with us or that we can do as a club, I think that would be very, very effective. So.
all right, I'm seeing if I can find that. We'll pull it up maybe real quick. We do have a few minutes. Let me do a screen share.
It's always tough to brainstorm on short notice, but nevertheless.
A quick question while
Sure.
you're doing that, Ed.
Yeah.
Are the business cards generic Hamsci or are they specific for the solar eclipse?
I got my hand. One side is clearly got the solar eclipse QSO party logo, and then the back has got a generic link. Okay, take you back to the
Okay.
Hamsci site. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, it works really well, I got to tell you. And as I keep telling people, when you hand them out, everything you need to know is on this card. Okay, and people appreciate that. So.
Yeah, I'll throw one up on the camera in a second.
Yep.
I may have to reconfigure a little bit.
How can I get a handful of them?
Jay, I can get you some too.
Yeah, thank you.
Gary is our fulfillment coordinator.
Yeah, I had no idea they'd be so popular, so.
Are you gonna need to order more?
Yeah, I think so, at the rate we're going.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I think they were fairly inexpensive for what you got. So I think if you want to talk to Salisa, you can order another one.
Okay, yeah, I think, we did 2,500 last time. I don't know if we have to go that large or not, but, I think it was around $100. That Randy's pretty reasonable, so.
Yeah, I mean, for $100, I would do another,
Yeah.
2,500
Yep.
because we still have the April eclipse coming up too. So
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
and also, I mean, I took 300 coming out of Dayton, right? Gary, you sent me 300. And I mean, I used 125 on a rainy day, at a ham fest, and I'm gonna go up to Boxborough or whatever they call it now, I guess Ham Expo. I mean, I'm sure I'm gonna get rid of the rest of them. So, because people are also asking, can I grab a card? If it's on a table, so.
Yeah, only about 20 or so will do for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay,
That'll be a good supply for me.
Yeah, and I'm going to do the Ham Fest in Richmond and Ham Fest in Lexington in September.
great.
Sometime on the agenda today, Nathaniel, I got a couple questions for you.
sounds good. Whenever Gary and Ed say it's good.
I'm good here, so.
Well, let me just review real quick. Let me put my screen back up, back to the club activities that we were talking about a second ago. So this was the list I had from last week. I haven't changed it at all. But the comment was some more STEM type sort of things, huh?
Yeah, sorry, I muted myself. I mean, that was the comment from Mike Walters at the league. And, because obviously they've spoken about it. So I think that's a really good piece. The media kit really sort of falls under, I guess, mine, just in terms of taking it out, getting it done. So, I mean, that's not necessarily something that we pass on to them. So.
Yeah, I think the STEM opportunities are a really good idea. And they can vary. I mean, even probably do find some things that are like really basic, what causes an eclipse, and
Right.
what's the difference between an annular eclipse and total eclipse. So that's of course very, very basic. And then of course, more advanced could be like, tying into ham radio, we talked about making a prediction. Okay, how do you expect each of the different amateur radio bands to behave and why? How do you expect the eclipse to affect propagation? And so you can have people try to make guesses, see if they actually see those patterns when they operate the SEQP.
Yep.
Yeah, but I get the point. It's some kind of, you want to call it hands-on activity, but something people can participate in rather than just sit
Yep.
back and passively watch,
Yeah.
because that's not going to excite.
Yeah, like if
younger
I look down
people.
at the bottom, to partner with local schools, well, what's the opportunity that we want to talk about in terms of partnering? So.
All right, good. Anything else to add? Otherwise, we'll,
No, that's good. I'm
Come back to
fine.
that.
So, and I know we're running late, so.
Oh,
okay,
Gar-
we're good.
Gary, I finally got the Windows machine to run the audio on the clip. On
Oh, for the chirp
Yeah.
signal. Good, good,
Yeah,
good,
all-
good.
Yeah, all I had to do was download the right codec file for Windows, and that was it.
Good. Let's see if this works. Yeah, there's the front of the card, Bill. It's got our SEQP logo, and the back has the dates, times, and a QR code that takes you back to our website. So pretty straightforward.
Well, that's perfect. I can use a couple hundred at our convention, and then for the balloon fiesta, probably another 300 or so, because
Yep.
we'll much bigger audience, tens of thousands of people.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, and just, one other point that's just segues into another idea is that Bill Lyles and Gary and myself have been talking about a poster, that you might be able to use for a conference. What we're looking to do is have a stock design poster that if you want it, obviously to transport it around might be difficult, with all of us here, but to have a PDF of one that you can take to a local Staples and have it downloaded, for your event. I expect it might be an out-of-pocket cost, but nevertheless, it would work, particularly with a simple mount. So, and I know I wish I had one this past Sunday, but with the league there in full force, I wouldn't have had a place to put it anyway. But obviously, there may be, there's opportunities, for you when depending on your event, and to put it up. So, but
Yeah,
stand by for that because we're trying to figure it out.
At previous conventions, when I've been out promoting our own local convention, I've used a large monitor with a PowerPoint show continuously running.
Yep.
And that PowerPoint is wonderful.
There you go. Yeah, and that's the example of the poster right now. Picture a 24 by 36. As an example. I mean, Staples can do that for I think about $15, something like that, unmounted. So if you got a piece of cardboard behind it or someplace to mount it, I mean that's something that you would have behind it. So.
Yeah, so that ties in with the business cards pretty well, with the QR code and all that, I thought, so.
The branding is close, as the marketing guy says. So.
Yep. Okay. All right, let's see if there was anything else urgent. I think that was about it from me on my side, and I think we've got all the agenda items covered. Hey, Ron, you made it in after all. Good to see you. Our CQ author.
Hey.
Thanks.
Are
Well,
people stopping you in the streets and asking you to kiss babies or anything like that now that you've been published in CQ? But
no, not really, not yet. Hopefully that doesn't happen. So
Well, I have to say, Nathaniel, don't repeat the stories. Bill Johnson from the agency thought I said GQ. I said, we wish.
I saw that.
So,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
and then we get Ron on Vogue. So,
Right.
Well-
I did see that. That made me laugh. Did you
so
get,
how many times did you have to repeat it to say, not GQ?
no, I put it in writing very discreetly. I didn't mention it.
Did you get Bob the PDF of the article yet?
From CQ. I'm
Yes.
calling it GQ. We got an entire issue from Long Island. So we're gonna have to
Okay.
figure out how to pull it apart. But we got the whole issue. So
Okay.
yeah, and Rich only
it-
says sell subscriptions off of it. So
yeah. Because I also emailed Rich, and Rich said that he had no problem with me giving the article over to Bob. So I actually made a PDF off of my electronic subscription. So I have a PDF of it
okay,
too.
Gary, that answers our question. So that's that piece. Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah.
okay, so does Bob still need a copy of that, or is somebody working on that? I missed that.
I can send it to him tomorrow morning. When I get up tomorrow, I'm gonna go through and batch answer my emails, and I will send one off to Bob.
Okay.
Or Bill,
Very good.
rather, Bill Johnson.
and Gary,
Okay. Yeah, Ron.
so I mean, I appreciate the kind words, but I really want to make sure that I express appreciation to Nathaniel for tutoring and mentoring me through 7 revisions and drafts. The learning process was absolutely on my end very enjoyable, and I felt like I was drinking from a fire hose as to how to write an appropriate article and all of the different things. So I just really want to make sure that I'm very upfront about thanking Nathaniel for teaching an old man some new tricks.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for being so patient. I know being on the receiving end of some of these comments for writing papers is sometimes difficult. I've been on both sides, both receiving comments and also giving them, so.
All right, one other thing, I have a small favor to ask of Jim Farmer, a real small favor, since I missed you in the grave call this morning. I've got a large file it's got all the information regarding finding the host stations for the grapes. And right now, if I got hit by a bus, we'd lose all that stuff. So Jim, all I basically want to do is send you a copy of that file. just so somebody else has it. And once in a while, I'll send you an update, but it just, somebody else should have it other than me. So that's all I'm asking.
No problem. I'll make a couple of copies of it, have it backed up.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, there's notes about, who replied, what they're gonna get and that sort of thing. But anyway, you're obviously welcome to look through it, whatever you want to see in there, but I'm more just worried having it in somebody else's hands, so. There's
Yeah,
a lot of work has gone into it.
I'll hang in onto it.
Okay, and we're up to, I think, 18 locations out of the 26 that we're looking for, so we're making pretty good progress, I think. Okay, anything else anybody wants to bring up before
Jay
we?
had something, right? Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Jay, yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
First of all, that software requirements document that I wrote, I saw your email that said it's existing and it's out there. Have you had any feedback if anyone's actually using it or is going to use it? And I've got to apologize. Second thing, I've got to apologize for the group from being absent these past 2-3 weeks. Just a bunch of schedule conflicts with some other, I know this is sinful and I know it's blasphemy, but things that were higher priority than amateur radio. And I offer contrite apologies for speaking blasphemously about that. Mainly other automotive cybersecurity activities that I've been involved with. So I intend, as soon as I can clear some time, to start polishing and adding a few little things. However, anybody know if anyone's actually started to use that document?
Now, I can answer that. So what I did, Jay, is I went out and tried to solicit some responses who would be interested in being on this, working on the scoring, and I got 3 responses. And I want to make sure they're comfortable with it and kind of accept the responsibility. So I'm working through that process now before I throw that file. Maybe I will at Darsh, because he and I have been moving along pretty quickly. So I need to send it to him and then some of the others once we're moved along.
Nathaniel, I would like to make a donation to the cause. And specifically, are you familiar with a software document out of England called the Motor Industry Software Reliability Association document, MISRA? Or have you ever heard of that or familiar with that?
You've mentioned it to me before.
Yeah, well, the document, it's a licensed document and it costs about 15 British pounds. So I would like to, I'm going to purchase one of that and I'll send you it, and it's for the cause. Now it's written for C, the C language, in embedded applications. However, once you start reading it, it contains a lot of neat little things to do about how you write software. And it can be adapted to any language whatsoever, any language, any project. It's global in the automotive industry, and a lot of other industries use it. So I think that as we are going to have a distributed development environment, a lot of people doing things, that being able to reference this one document would be of value. So to try and minimize spaghetti code, and well, everybody has their own way of doing something. It's really just a very sophisticated coding standard. And there are actually software tools out there that you can run software. We do this all the time in automotive. You can run your source code through the tool and it will spot any violations of the standard. Now, how we do that, I'm not sure if we have to do that. We did that with the Oscar 85 team when I was on that for the software team, and it saved a couple of aw shits that, would have been really, really bad if they had gone ahead and flown with that stuff. It could have resulted in mission failure. So I would like to do that, and as soon as I do and I get that license document, I'll send it out to you in the email, and then as long as it stays within the HamSci family, we're good.
Okay, thank you. That sounds great.
Yeah, and
I can pass it on to Gary and.
Yeah, well, I can pass it on to both of you. And then also, Nathaniel, you might want to think about for your students at your day job about, buying a copy license, get your employer to Spring for 15 British pounds to buy a copy for the university.
Mhm.
So anyway, so those are the couple things I had. I hope to be able to start back again and polish what I wrote a little bit more, but there's nothing, even though it's, you know, it's a living document, there's nothing stopping anybody from going ahead and using what's already out there. And if somebody wanted to do a peer review on that, I would have no objection whatsoever to listening to their peer review if somebody wanted to do that. I'm used to doing that and all the other stuff in my professional career. So one more peer review, no problem.
Thank you.
So anyway, that's it. Nathaniel, have a safe flight home.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Back to net control.
All right, good. Thank you, Jay, for your input. If there's nothing else, we'll close it down just a few minutes early. We got a lot done in an hour, pretty concise, but yet very effective. So good meeting. If that's it, we'll call it a night.
Sounds great.
Going
Thank
once,
you so much,
right.
everyone.
Safe travel.
Safe trip. Yep. Safe trip.
Thank you. Really
73
appreciate
all.
73.
73s.